Okay, so I removed the upper and the lower radiator hose. And this is what I have. All right, so this is the upper, and it's an original GM part number on there. So I'm going to assume this is an original upper radiator hose, and this is an original lower radiator hose. So this one's coming in today, supposedly AC Delco. We'll see. And this one I can't find original, and I can't find an AC Delco. They do have the Chinese brand, but it's the upper hose, so if it ever fails, it's easy to replace. Also, look at what I found. I removed the cap. You see that golden nugget right on top of there? It's gold or copper. So that only tells me that there was a leak and someone added this stuff to it to stop the leak. Now, I did see a leak when I first started working on the car, but it came from the upper radiator hose where it connects to the it connects to the thermostat housing. It was leaking. It was seeping out of there. I'm not sure if that was the original leak, but if not, I guess I'll be finding out, right, once it's all together. And if it was the water pump, then at least that's new. So I'm going to continue changing all these hoses out, put new ones, just in case that's where the leak was. And if it's the radiator, at least that should be fairly easy to change out. So we'll put it all back together. If that's where the leak is, if it ever starts leaking again, then it's just a matter of swapping out radiators. And if I decide to keep the car, then I'm going to go with aluminum. But for now, this is what I decided to do, because before I put any of this back in place, those valve covers need to go back in. So I cleaned this area up. I moved the fuel injection wire harness off to the side. I have a zip tied to the wiper to hold it in place. Yes, I know. Look at the wiper. I'm ruining it. But that's a small price to pay for what's going back in. So this is it. These are the new valve covers. And these are the old. I don't feel like refurbishing. The only thing is that these are slightly taller. Right here. These are taller. Are they going to interfere? Not sure. But I'm going to put them in anyway. So I do have the new Velcro gaskets. They are here. I'm going to install them on the valve cover, because I don't want to make the mistake that the last person made with that valve cover gasket. It got pinched. They didn't see it when it came loose, and they pinched it, and that's where all the oil was leaking from. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't know, maybe I'll use some Indian head to put these in place on the valve cover, and then slowly drop this in. Another thing that I notice is that this hole, this opening here, is much bigger than this. And so I'm going to carefully attempt to remove this. If it's not too hard, I'm going to carefully attempt to remove it and place it over here. If not, then I'll have to order a new one. It feels kind of hard, like a hard plastic. I'm not sure if that's correct or if it's just hardened after all these years. We'll find out, right? Anyway, let me prepare this and get ready to install this valve cover. Okay, that was easy. So no need to glue them in place, because it has these little nipples on here. nipples or nubs, whatever you want to call them. I prefer to call them nipples. But check it out. I pushed them in place, and they hold. So this one's ready to go in. Okay, I'm going in. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Nope, that's not gonna go. I'm trying to do this holding the camera with one hand, and it looks like I'm gonna need them both. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, she's in place. It was a little bit of a struggle, but it's in there. It is in there. All right, you see where the air conditioning compressor is laying like right on it. So you already know when I get ready to put all this back in place, this aluminum polished, I know it's a little dirty, valve cover is going to get destroyed. So here's the plan. Came in this box, and it came wrapped in this plastic sort of paper. I'm going to put this back on there just to protect it as much as I can, because I don't want to ruin them. I mean, that's going to look crazy. Here, let's take a look and see what it's going to look like so far. Woohoo! Look at that. Huh? She's starting to look like something. Now all I have to do is hope that this tube is going to go back in place without interfering with the taller valve cover. Maybe I should attempt that now in case that becomes a fail. Alright, let me try that. And clean that pipe. I'm going to call it a crossover pipe. I know it's an EGR pipe. It does have an EGR sensor on there. Not sure if that's any good, but I did find it online, so if it turns out this is no good, I can replace it while it's in there. So I'm going to clean all this up. Maybe I should disconnect it and run this on the wire wheel. But anyway, I do have the gaskets. I think I mentioned them in one of the videos, and here they are. So here's the thing. So you go online to look for these, and you can find them on those websites that dedicate themselves to Corvettes, but they want a lot of money for it. And if you order through the website, it's going to take more than a week to get here. So I went on their website and I looked up the part number. So here's the part number right here, right? And here's the thing: if you go online and you go to let's say Amazon will show you this part, and if you have your car, you know, the year, make, and model in your account, it will, for the most part, always tell you this part doesn't fit, so you won't purchase it. And then you scroll down and you find the same part with a crappy Chinesium name for way less. Anyway, I ordered it anyway, and sure enough, they fit. So keep that in mind. When you go on Amazon, a lot of the times it will tell you that the part does not fit. And I've done that many times, and the part always fits. Anyway, let's get to it. Here we are. I got the bolts cleaned up for the crossover pipe, and I got the anti-seize here. Also, La Senorita came by with a nice medium coffee, French vanilla, 5 Splendas. All right, and we have a blueberry muffin. Huh? Also, she brought over this box, this beautiful gift for me. She mentioned that I was disorganized and that I should organize all my nuts and bolts. So, there they are. Nice and organized. Big shout out to La Senorita. All right, folks, let me get done with this muffin and coffee, and we'll install this crossover pipe. Okay. Pipe is in place. Torqued down. This line here that comes from the heater hose line is back in place. Oh, and is loose. Let me tighten that. What do I have to do here? I had to bring up these two spark plug wires because they were laying down in there, and you can see it was starting to burn that one. So I put a zip tie in here. We'll address that at a later date. We'll get some new ones, and maybe we'll buy the clips that go on here that holds them correctly in place. Also, look at this. It's been about 36 hours and it's still holding pressure. So, yeah, the initial problem is solved. Anyway, how's that valve cover look? Pretty, isn't it? So now we're going to move over to this side. And before we do that, hold on. So while I'm working in there, there's a temperature sensor on the block here. I believe it's on the block. I can't see too good, but I think it's on the block. Anyway, I removed it. And then I ran it through the wire wheel, cleaned it up, tried to look for some numbers, but all it says is 12 volts AC. I don't know. AC Delco maybe? 12 volts. I'm sure they're not working because these fans did not run. I've already replaced the one on the driver's side, which is this one here. It's in there. You see that red dot? That's the very end of the sensor. That one's brand new. So they had this wire here, which I think is the original wire that went to that sensor. Alright, so this one was supposed to be wired here, but someone added this and tapped in to this relay here. Now there are two fans in here. I believe that's the primary and then the secondary in the front. So one sensor turns on one fan and the other turns on the other. So this is the other relay here, and then this relay. I don't know which is which. I mean, I can find out by just grounding it and see which one comes on. But since this is new and the only one left is the one on that side, then I may as well change that one and then put everything back to stock, bring the car up to temperature, and see if the fan comes on. Also, I can try turning on the AC, and then the smaller fan, which is in the front, should come on. Alright, so that's something that I'm going to work on. So I'm going to go ahead and order that sensor. I may just go to the auto parts store and get this, maybe Napa, because I can bring it to them. They can match it up correctly, because I go online and they're very confusing. They all look, they all look the same. So we'll see. All right, so now I think I'm ready to put this valve cover in. So let's start working on that. Okay, so Amazon showed up with my new AC Delco lower radiator hose. It looks a bit short to me. I don't know. I'm gonna attempt to put it in anyway. Who knows? Could be that this original one is stretched, completely warped. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so total freaking fail. does not fit. It's short by like 2.5, 3 inches. So I'm able to get it on the water pump in here, but it doesn't reach. It just makes it to the end right there of the radiator. And also it looks like someone cut this. You see that? See how it looks kind of jagged and crooked? And this one's nice and straight. So yep, going back to Amazon. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these two, and I'm going to pull the spring out of this one, clean that off, and I'm going to shove a brush in there and scrub it, scrub them both and clean them up and put them back in. I'll deal with it if it leaks or if they burst. But right now I don't have time to order anything. I want to get this done. Talking about getting it done, what do you think? Check it out. That's all in. This side, valve cover is in place. Throttle cruise control cable is in place. And now I think I'm going to go ahead and put the throttle body in place and then start either that side or this side. I think this side is the easiest, so maybe I'll start over here just because I'm already frustrated and I don't feel like dealing with that big old bracket over there right now. Also, on this valve cover here, this was so tight. This was harder to put in than on that side, but it was easier to take off. And so this is where what I found. This harness here is really tight, right in that corner right there. And so what I'm thinking, that it looked like it was pinched a little. I checked it to make sure the wire is okay, but you can see where the tape is undoing itself. I think that's where he made the mistake. And when I say he, I mean the flipper. He didn't see that, and he might have forced it in place, and that's why it was leaking oil. Because if you remember, the gasket was all torn up, twisted, and no bueno. So anyway, now I feel like I'm in the home stretch. It's just a matter of putting this front portion of the engine back together, turning the key, and see how she runs. So let me get to that. My goodness. All right. I am beat. I am done. You see that belt? I had to cut that belt out of there. It's been sitting parked here for 2 months, and I washed the engine bay. And the damn thing seized itself to the pulley. See that rust? From there to here. I had to pry it off with a pry bar, and then it still wouldn't come out, so I cut it. Anyway, let me show you what I've done so far. Bam! Woo, that was not easy. You see all this cluster here? You know what it's like to try to figure out which hose goes over which hose? And then once you think you got to figure it out, you got to pull it all back out because you forgot to put this hose in there. Yeah. Anyway, folks, the AC pump is on here. I still need to tighten the 2 bolts in the bottom. The new belt's got to go in. The tensioner's in place. I have to get new grommets here. This doesn't work. And I need an oil cap, filler cap here, because this doesn't screw on. The original does not screw on there. So I'll be making a trip to the auto parts tomorrow morning. I'm tired of ordering online. I want to get this done. What's over here? Oh, let me show you. See, I have to protect it, right? Now, you know what? I'm going to leave this on here because I still have brackets, pump, and a alternator to put in. So I'm going to leave that on there. But for now, I think I'm done. I'm done for now. I'm not going to order this online, this temperature sensor. I'm just going to go to the auto parts store and try to match it up as best I can. If they have it, I'll take it, put it in, and hope for the best. The radiator hose, I cleaned it up. It's back in place. I don't even want to explain how this went. Yeah, you really can't make that stuff up, because it just sounds like it's impossible to do if I told you. And it practically is. I mean, I don't know how they worked on these cars back in the 80s. They must have charged a ton of money. They probably charge a ton of money today. I know I wouldn't do this. I would not do this for anyone else. They couldn't pay me enough. No way. You know what? It's either that or I just don't have the patience. I just don't have the patience anymore. Anyway, I rewrapped the wires in some nice electrical tape. I'm going to put a zip tie here just to make sure that doesn't move. Right? And I got the gaskets coming in. I'm going to make my own gasket for this. And the other end. Button it up. Get some antifreeze in there. Burp the system. And let's see how she rides. Stay tuned for that video. And on that note, I'm going to leave it right there. So thanks for watching. Continue watching. And let's see what happens. We'll see you soon.